Salve omnes. I'm Magister Hodges, and this is going to be a read through of Bellum Troianum, chapters 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to go through, point through these, just read the Latin translated into English on the fly to help you check yourself. So without further ado, here we go. Capitulum 1, chapter 1, To the Fairest. There was a wedding, and the wedding was on Mount Olympus. Jupiter and many gods were invited, or had been invited, to the wedding. Suddenly, an apple had appeared in the middle of the wedding. All the gods and goddesses looked at the apple. The word Pulcherrimai, or to the fairest, had been written on the apple. Suddenly, Juno, wife of Jupiter, said, "I am the most beautiful goddess. Someone sent me an apple." "No," the goddess Minerva shouted. "You are not the prettiest goddess. I am the most beautiful goddess. Someone sent me an apple." "Ha ha," said Venus, or mocked the goddess Venus. I guess it's the goddess Venus mocked Juno and Minerva. "Y'all are definitely not the most beautiful goddesses. I am the goddess of beauty. It's manifest. It's obvious. I am the most beautiful. Someone sent me an apple." The three goddesses began to shout and fight. And finally, Juno shouted, "Jupiter!" Jupiter was anxious. Shouts again, "Jupiter!" Jupiter doesn't respond. "Jupiter!" Quid? What? Juno has an apple. Jupiter doesn't want that apple. Juno, however, gave the apple to Jupiter. Remember, Jupiter, his name becomes, when he's nominative, it's Jupiter. And when he's any other case, the stem is going to be IOV. And so this is the dative to Jupiter, or to Jove. "Juno, my dearest husband, who is the prettiest goddess? Surely I am the most prettiest goddess." Minerva and Venus say, "Ha ha, Jupiter, speak the truth." All the gods and goddesses look at Jupiter on Mount Olympus. Goddesses, y'all are all beautiful. Yes, but who is the most beautiful? Jupiter didn't want to decide this matter. Jupiter didn't want to decide the matter, because if he decided the matter, then then two goddesses would hate him. Jupiter was anxious. Jupiter looked at the other gods and goddesses anxiously. Suddenly, Jupiter got a plan. Jupiter looked at the door. And finally, Jupiter shouted, "Oh dear, at the door, there's a monster." And all the gods and goddesses looked at the door, and Jupiter quickly threw the apple to the earth, to the globe of the earth. The apple fell from Mount Olympus. The apple fell to the earth. After a long time, the apple fell. The apple fell on the earth, or on the globe of the earth. It fell onto Mount Ida, which is a mountain in Troy. All the gods and goddesses looked at the door, but no one saw a monster. Juno says, "A monster? I don't see a monster." "Forgive me, I was confused." And now all the gods and goddesses looked at Jupiter. Oh dear! The apple fell off Mount Olympus. Look, the apple's on Mount Ida. Suddenly, Juno, Minerva, and Venus shouted, "My apple!" Finally, the three goddesses quickly went so that they could find the apple. Chapter 2, Paris. Look at Paris. Paris was on Mount Ida. Mount Ida is not in Greece. Mount Ida is near Troy, or was near Troy. Troy was in Asia. And by Asia here, we're talking about like modern day Turkey. Paris was the son of the Trojan king. And on Mount Ida, he was on Mount Ida. Suddenly, an apple fell out of the sky. The apple hit Paris. "Oh dear," Paris says. "What is this?" Paris saw the apple. What? How did an apple fall out of the sky? Paris picked up the apple. On the apple was written, "To the fairest." Paris says, "Perhaps this is a magical apple. Perhaps I'll bring this apple to Troy so that I can show it to my father, so I can show this apple to my father." Paris began to carry the apple to Troy, and suddenly three goddesses, Juno, Minerva, and Venus, appeared to Paris. "Hi, Paris. Give me the apple," said Juno. Minerva says, "No, no, Paris. Give me the apple." Venus says, "Paris, what word is written on the apple?" Paris says, "To the fairest." Venus says, "Well said. Judge this matter, please. Who is the most beautiful goddess?" Paris looked at Juno. Paris looked at Minerva. He looked at Venus. But Paris was not able to decide this matter. It was difficult to decide this matter because the three goddesses were all beautiful. Looking at a confused Paris, Juno said, "Paris, if you give me this apple, I will give you the kingdoms of Europe and Asia." It's a pretty solid offer. Paris says, "Oh man, you, the most beautiful goddess, is Minerva. Wait, Paris, if you give me this apple, I will give you wisdom and skill in the art of war. Artes belli is the art of war. Basically, she's saying, I will make you undefeatable in war. I will give you wisdom and the arts of war." Paris says, "Thank you, Minerva. The most beautiful goddess is Minerva." And Venus yells, "Wait, Paris. If you give me that apple, I will give you the most beautiful woman in the whole world." Paris, "Most beautiful woman in the whole world?" "Certainly," said Venus. Venus, the most beautiful goddess is Venus." And Paris gave the apple to Venus, and Juno and Minerva were so mad. Venus, however, rejoiced much. Paris says, "Venus, who is the most beautiful woman in the whole world?" And Venus says, "The most beautiful woman in the whole world is in Sparta." Okay. Chapter 3, Helen. There was a big wedding. There was a big party, I guess, in this case. Paris was in that great party, and the party was in Sparta. Sparta was in Greece. It's all the way down here in the south. To compare, if you're familiar, Athens is up over here. Okay. Behold, Sparta. Menelaus, the king of Sparta, was in the wedding, or in the party. Helen, the queen of Sparta, was also in the wedding. And by wedding, I mean party. Convivio usually means party. It's like, but it's used to mean wedding at the beginning of this story. Here we're talking about like party gathering. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Seeing Helen, Paris was captured, was captured, amore, by love. But it was difficult to love Helen because Helen had a husband. Helen went away from the party. I'm sorry. Remember, it's just away from, ad is to. And I got those confused for a second. But Helen went away from the party. Paris also went away from the party. Paris says, "Well, hello, Queen Helen." Helen says, "Hi, what's your name?" Paris, "My name's Paris. My father is the king of Troy." "Oh, Helen. Oh, most beautiful Helen. I love you." Helen was confused. She was silent. It's a really long silence. Helen mocked Paris. "You love me? Are you confused? Are you insane?" Suddenly, however, Cupid appeared. Cupid was is the son of the goddess Venus. Cupid is the god of love. Cupid winked at Paris, and then Cupid shot we're going to use it to mean shot here, shot an arrow into Helen. Suddenly, Helen was also captured by love. Helen says, "Paris, oh, Paris, I love you. Give me kisses." And suddenly Paris was giving, this is where it gets weird, y'all. Paris was giving kisses to Helen for a long time. Paris was giving kisses to Helen. And for a long time, Helen was giving kisses to Paris. Secretly, Paris was giving Helen kisses. For many days, Paris was giving Helen kisses. In many days, secretly, Helen was giving Paris kisses. Paris and Helen fled from Sparta. Helen went with Paris to Troy, and Helen and Paris went on a ship to Troy. On the ship, Helen said, "I love you, Paris." And on the ship, Paris said, "I love you, Helen." In Sparta, Menelaus asked, "Where's my wife? Where's Helen?" No one responded. There was silence, and there was a long silence. In Sparta, Menelaus shouted, "Where is my wife? Where is Helen?" The Spartan man says, "On a ship with Paris." What? Menelaus was mad. Menelaus was very mad. All right, that's chapters 1-3. Yeah. All right, so I'll stop it there, and we'll pick this up in the next part.